since I went up this high. I just give you it every day. 10 minutes to catch my breath.
Guess we get a little more respect now.
As folks know, I visited the home of Melody McLean's family, and in my sort of personal exploration to understand a little bit more about wind and wind turbines and wind energy. So if the committee, if it's okay, I'll just read the letter I sent to the Public Service Board, which sort of outlines my experience. So on Monday, March 14th, 2016, I visited Melody McLean at her home at 1179 Georgia Mountain Road in Georgia, Vermont. My visit was prompted after learning that Melody and her family were living uncomfortably with the sounds produced from the wind turbines on Georgia Mountain. I arrived at the McLean residence at 5:30 p.m. or thereabouts and stayed for roughly an hour. I spent time in the front of their home, on their porch, inside their living room, and across the road at their neighbor's home. Although I did go indoors, the television was on and we were in conversation, as the atmosphere was such that I could not properly evaluate sound from the turbines. However, while outside, I had no other way to qualify my experience in sharing that I found the sound made from the turbines as too loud and not likely conducive to my being comfortable outdoors for an extended period of time. I hope you will take my experience into consideration as you move forward with your examination of sound from wind turbines. And again, that was sent to the members of the Public Service Board on March 31st, 2016.
Did they write you back yet?
Sorry?
Did they write you back yet?
They did. They just indicated that they had received my letter.
Was that 15 or 16? I thought you said 16.
That's just a couple of weeks ago.
It's a couple weeks ago. I visited March 14th. My letter is dated March 31st.
Okay, okay, but it's 16, not 15.
Yes, 2016. Yes, sorry, yes, 2016. So I was asked to share the letter, and
Good.
Yes, so I have a question. How would you describe the sound that you heard? In terms of, I understand you said you're not comfortable, but was it overwhelmingly uncomfortable? Was it disturbing?
well, I'll describe the sound.
Inside?
If someone were to ask the sounds that I heard, one, when I was left on the porch to have some time on my own to sort of assess things, there was a rumbling sound. And that's the best way to describe it. There was also, at one point, I shouldn't say at one point, there was also, I would describe the other sound as being airplane-like, when an airplane is at a very high altitude and you sort of hear it going over. I couldn't tell you the altitude or anything like that. Now, I'm not talking about being under a plane as it's landing. I'm talking about a very high altitude.
So, and was the noise constant? Was this a constant sound for as long as you were there? Did it ebb and flow?
No, it ebbed and flowed as I best recall. Yes, and certainly, for certain, I know that the rumbling is not constant because I was on the porch and sitting by myself, and it was not constant.
I remember we had a brief conversation after your visit, to which you said, I had no idea.
Yes, this was my, I have family in the Northeast Kingdom in Craftsbury, and this was the first time I had actually. Oh, sure, yes, of course. Yeah, you have to flip through a few pages. And this was the first time I had actually visited, and much to of course my own fault, actually visited a wind turbine. So I'd seen them and certainly traveled in parts of Quebec, the Gaspe Peninsula, parts of Europe, and seen them. But this is my first experience in this manner, in which I was looking for information.
Were you surprised at anything you experienced?
Surprised?
In the sense of...
I received a lovely, warm welcome. No, but I was expecting.
That's right.
And I've heard those McLeans were just, tough people. No, very nice people, very nice people.
Mark?
Was there any measurement about what the sound levels were at the time?
Yes, the
you were
gentleman,
there?
Mr. McLean, did have an instrument, and again, I want to emphasize, I'm talking about my personal experience. I'm not an expert, but at that time, Mr. McLean did indeed, as we walked, he had a tool which measures sound. So yes, he did have that with
And
him.
if you're like me, when I visited and I had my iPhone out, I don't really even remember the numbers that were there, but does any number jump out at you? or-
60
Wow,
is what
that's-
jumps out at
Well,
me.
45 is their
60
compliance,
jumps out
60
at me.
is very high. And do you think that was attributed to the wind turbines or the fact that he knocked it on the wall or something? 60 steady or?
Well, what I can say is Mr. McLean did not knock it on the wall or in any way.
It seems like
I can speak to his,
it seemed like a reliable reading. It
he
wasn't
seems like a very
doctored.
reliable person and not in any way would never do anything like that.
Thanks.
Just having spent an hour with him,
That's a
he's
good number to
seems like
know.
a trustworthy.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you conversing at the time? There was just not meter?
I do not know. We were in conversation during different points of the conversation, during the visit, but I couldn't tell you with absolute accuracy when. And it was shown to me a few different times, so it's quite possible that at some points we were conversing and others not, but, again, I'm afraid I
As
can't
I'm looking at
actually-
this while we're speaking here, it's
Yeah.
reading up in the 50s and 60s
Yeah.
for conversation.
Yeah, it's something that, so you're saying I'm loud?
Actually, there's some people on the
Just the
floor
clothes you wear.
that go up to 90.
You measured yourself, right?
No, it wasn't measuring me, but you can measure me.
Okay, thanks.